Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, I'm Nefertiti Gold and I'm an electronic R&B artist, and today we are getting right into today's video. Now, I'm pretty sure you have clicked on this video because of the title and thumbnail of today's topic, which is studio desk upgrades. Now, I have added some new gear, some new equipment. I've done some rearranging that I feel really fits me right now. Some of the gear that I have been able to add to my desk is in partnership with zZounds.com. Now, if you're in the market of checking out some gear, I would definitely recommend going to zZounds.com. Now, I understand it might be a little bit easier to go on Amazon and order some gear. However, if you're in the market for something that's really expensive, are you really going to trust those Amazon delivery drivers? Bless their hearts. But there have been plenty of times where I've gotten packages and it really looks like they just chucked that shit out the window. So if you're in the market for new gear, especially expensive gear, definitely check out zZounds.com. The shipping, honestly, is really faster than you really think. And quite frankly, you have better warranty on that shipping. And there's even options for like interest-free payment plans as well on zZounds. So if you're anything like me and you have a birthday coming up and you know you might get some birthday money, you might be able to sneak your gift in a little bit early, get that birthday money, and then pay it off as you need. Now, while zZounds did help your girl out with the gear, today's video is actually sponsored by DistroKid, and I promise we're gonna get into that just a little bit later. Now, enough talking, let's get to showing. Now, I don't even know where exactly to start, so we're just gonna start with the two biggest upgrades, which is a new compressor and a new rack unit interface. Now, the previous interface that I was using was from Universal Audio. It's the 476, which has a built-in 1176 compressor. Now, because of that interface, it inspired me to check out Warm Audio's WA76A Blue Stripe compressor. Now, there are technically two types of WA76 compressors from Warm Audio. The first one is the WA76A, which is the one I have with the blue stripe, and then the other one is the WA76 Blackface. Now, the one that I currently have in my possession is known to be a little bit more gritty and more aggressive, which is really great for vocals, and I did test it out a little bit. I do want to do a separate video on that, but what I'm hearing so far, I love it. I feel like I can really just go into dynamics and it just controls everything and it smooths everything out. I definitely hear how aggressive it can be, which is why I need some more time to sit with it and really kind of tune it. And of course, there's always going to be some tuning that needs to happen with each and every different track, because of course you're not going to be singing loudly for each song, or at least I'm not going to. So there's definitely room to like learn. And I just like keep looking at it because I just love the look of it. Now, while I genuinely really love the 476 by Universal Audio, I needed more inputs, I needed more outputs. I just have so much going on with my desk that I just need to easily be able to know where everything's routed, because with that one, I loved it. I was on a budget. I didn't want to like do too much. So therefore I was using a lot of splitter cables, which behind my desk is already a hot mess, but that made it even hotter. So for the new interface, I'm using the SSL18. I would say the inputs and outputs was the number one factor that drew me to this interface. I love the fact that it has 8 analog inputs and 10 analog outputs. And with that, it just kind of makes routing audio on my desk really easily, because I do have a lot of sources of audio going in and out. I have sources coming from the tape machine back and forth. I have sources from my streaming deck, which is like a separate setup in itself from when I stream, that's going in and out. There's stuff for when I actually do use and make music, that there's an in and out from there. And I just needed to know for a fact that I don't need a bunch of splitter cables. I need to know exactly where it's going, and I need to be able to control inputs and outputs for all of these sources separately. Now, another factor that drew me into this particular interface is the fact that with the amount of inputs and outputs, I would say that the price tag was reasonable for this exact purpose. For the amount of inputs, for the amount of outputs, I mean, this is probably one of the more affordable ones, depending on what your definition of affordable is, but comparatively, it is one of the more affordable ones out there for this amount of analog inputs and outputs. Now, of course, it does have ADAT capability, so you can expand it even more if needed, but currently, I'm good. I would say that with this interface, I feel like it's straightforward. There's a lot of knobs happening, but it's really straightforward. And there's also an app that you can download to really dig deep under the hood and do even more routing, which is what I had to do with what I have going on with my setup. I have main outputs 1 and 2 being routed in 2 different places, my headphones and into my streaming, so that I can stream audio from my main computer into my stream. It's like a whole thing. I should probably do a separate video on it, but I'm not gonna lie, I'm kind of dreading the idea of doing a separate video of my streaming setup, because it's a lot. Sometimes I feel like I just like sit down and I just think of new problems to solve. And that's how we got here. Now, in the process of installing the compressor and the interface into the desk, it made me have to move things around a bit, and I'm not mad at it. Two of the main things being is where I place my mic and my computer. Now, before, my mic and the mic boom arm was kind of routed through like some grommet holes that are already built into the desk, and my computer was kind of like tucked in. And with the original Mac Mini and the power button being like to the back side, I had a lot of things that got in the way, a lot of wires that got in the way, which means that like every time I wanted to turn on my computer, it was a bit of a hassle. And then also because of where the computer was placed, accessing certain ports in the back of my computer was a pain. And also every time when I wanted to edit a video and I need to insert like a micro SD card, that was an issue. Now I've moved it up to the top where I can easily access it. I can put memory cards in and out with some of the dongles that I have. If I need to unplug something, it's like right there, it's accessible, and I love that. Now with my microphone, I relocated it to clip on like the side part where like my monitor is. And even though it doesn't neatly tuck away to the side when I'm not using it, I kind of still like it just right there. I like the fact that now it's officially like centered to my monitor so that when I am tracking vocals, I just have everything right in front of me. I don't have to like, you know, put my body off to the side, record vocals, and then kind of come back center to like look at the screen. Now it's just a matter of everything's just kind of centered. I don't have to keep going back and forth. Now, I will say I still do not use this microphone for when I'm streaming. I don't know what it is. I just don't like, personally, I just don't like the look of the big bulky mic in the frame. So I'm still using my streaming deck with my gooseneck microphone, which looks like one of those like conference type mics. And I love it because I love that when I'm streaming, it's very streamlined. It's just very thin. It's like out the way. Personally, it's just mainly an aesthetic thing. Now, the microphone that I am using is the SD1 by Universal Audio. I love that microphone. I love the fact that if you accidentally turn on phantom power, it will not destroy the mic because it is a dynamic microphone. Now, mind you, I've learned my lesson to not fucking do that a long time ago. But, you know, for those of us out here that are still probably new in the game, every once in a while, we're not really checking to see what buttons are on and off. It's nice to know that if you accidentally hit, you know, the phantom power, because sometimes it's very easily to turn it on and off, you just know that you're protected. You're not going to destroy the mic. Another addition that I've made to the desk is monitor speakers. I did not have that the last time. Now, the monitor speakers that I'm using are from III. These are also loaner units from zZounds, but I already told them like, listen, just you know, hit me with the bill, baby. I'm keeping these. I'm keeping them. Now, one of the main reasons why I didn't have monitor speakers for the desk was because I took my old ones and I attached it to the TV. It sounds great, but I still wanted speakers for the desk, but I also didn't want to like get rid of the ones that are connected to my TV. But then at the same time, the ones from my TV are a lot bigger than these ones by III. Now, even though these are small, they are mighty. And I love the fact that you can either plug them analog or you can use the wireless Bluetooth connection. I can definitely attest to the fact that it's truly latency free. And I do love the fact that it does have Bluetooth capability, which means that even if the desk is on, even if it's not connected to like the computer itself, I can activate the Bluetooth, connect it to my phone, and boom, just instant high quality. And because they're so loud, you can literally just put one speaker in one room, put one speaker in the other room, and you kind of have like an ambiance. Like you're hearing music from all over because it genuinely really is that loud. And I don't really have like the biggest apartment. So for me, putting it somewhere in the living room and then maybe somewhere like the foyer area, whatever, it does make my apartment feel nice and full if I do have music playing. Now, aside from the interface, the compressor, moving the computer and the microphone and also the monitor speakers, everything else is the same. Now, I do have an extra unit. It is the Subsequent 37 by Moog. However, okay, that loaner unit, not footing the bill, that's going back. Now, I only have that because I'm working on a review video that's supposed to come as soon as I'm done with like some of these performances that I have up. Now, before I get to rehashing again what I have going on in my desk outside of the new stuff, I want to thank today's sponsor, DistroKid. If you have been living under a rock and you don't know who DistroKid is the leading distributor, distributing 1/3 of all of the world's music to streaming platforms. DistroKid will be your right hand if you are an independent musician. Not only do they help you distribute your music, they also help help you promote your music with free tools such as promo cards and hyperfollow. Promo cards are vertical assets that you can use to post on stories and TikToks to really just kind of help promote your song before and after release. Now, hyperfollow is really cool in the fact that it acts as a pre-save link, and once your music is released, it actually converts to allow all of your users to basically listen to your music no matter what platform it's on. So essentially, after your song is released, hyperfollow will just convert to include all of the links and access to your music no matter what platform it is, whether it's Spotify, Apple Music, Tidal, etc. So it means that wherever you post your hyperfollow link on the internet, you don't have to worry about going back and changing it. Now, these tools are free to use if you are a DistroKid member, and if you are not a DistroKid member, definitely use my link in the description below. Get 7% off your first year. Okay, what did I not change on the desk? One of the main things that I didn't change is the HA73 preamp by Heritage Audio. It's part of my vocal chain. So essentially my mic is routed into the preamp and then into the compressor, and then from the compressor into the interface. So I just have a lot of control over what my vocals are going to sound like before I even get into the DAW. And I really, really love that versatility. And of course, I can tweak it no matter what the song is, no matter what my singing dynamics are going to be. I think there's just something really special about being able to just kind of tweak your parameters in person and just like really hear that difference in your headphones. Another thing that I didn't change is that I'm still using the Roland VR1 HD for when I'm streaming. Now, as I said before, the routing is kind of crazy, but essentially what it allows me to do is to take my entire setup, anything that's happening on my main computer, and essentially just stream it over to YouTube on a different like personal laptop. That way I can do what I need to do on my main computer without worrying that it's going to like overload the CPU if I'm trying to stream and have Logic open all at the same time. And I love that I can just easily use this camera right here. It plugs in seamlessly. I can route my mic through it, which if you've seen any of my streams, you'll see that little gooseneck mic is plugged right into it. And it just makes the entire stream seamless. And once I basically plug in the camera, I plug in the mic. It's just one USB-C cable that goes into my laptop and it's good. Now, I am still rocking with the vintage tape machine, which I still love, but I don't use her as much as I should. And I will, I swear I will. Especially now that I know that I've routed everything correctly and that I can tweak the levels of the tape machine independently from everything else on the desk. Another little minor upgrade that I kind of did, it's like for the studio, but not for the studio, but it is because it's right there, is that the tape machine is actually sitting on a new credenza. Now, this is the part of my studio where it starts to flow into like the homey vibes, but I wanted something that I can, one, not only just prop up the tape machine on, I wanted it to be able to handle the weight. And I also really wanted like storage that just looks good, because at the end of the day, this is in my living room. I still live here. I still chill here. Like, it's a studio, but it can't just be a studio. Like, I live here. I still want it to feel like a home. I still want it to feel like when I get off of work, I can just crash on the couch and not have to worry that it feels like work is here, even though technically work is here. The credenza looks great. Got it off of Amazon. I'm gonna link everything below so you guys can check it out too. I love that it starts to flow into like homey vibes, but when you open up the cabinets, it's just like other music stuff that I have stored in there. So essentially, I'm just hiding the mess. And I think my favorite part is the fact that it's at the right height with the desk, so it does make it easier to just like slide on over, use the tape machine if I need to, slide on back, do what I need to. Now, I do have like a, what is this even called? I don't even know what this is called. A mounting arm, whatever. I have like a mounting arm thing that I would connect like one of my smaller cameras so that I can do an overhead shot. Like, that's definitely clipped onto the desk. I have two different lights that I use for my setup. I have a smaller panel light over here, and then I have a bigger soft box that's coming over here. And I feel like the combination of these two just kind of makes the video look really good. I feel like the lighting is just enough, but not too much. I feel like it definitely helps, you know, keep me in focus when I'm doing a video, and just kind of like makes you ignore the background. And of course, I still have the red Casio piano. She has been fantastic. I love her. I've been taking piano lessons for a while now, so I really am trying to make sure that I use the gear that I have. If I have keys, I want to learn to play them efficiently. I don't want to just only play them for when I'm producing, but I want to be able to play them for fun as well. So that is an investment that I've been making in myself. Take piano lessons so that I can play the piano that I have. And I'm not gonna lie, it's been really rewarding. I really advocate anybody, you're interested in music, it will never do you wrong to just take some lessons. I promise. I know it's going to take forever. Oh my God, it's going to take so long, but the time is going to pass anyway. You might as well do it. You're already making music. Learn about it. It will literally only ever make you better. I promise. What else do I got going on? There's just like a lot of little stuff that also contributes to the ecosystem of the desk besides like the major gear. And I don't even really know what to like point out. I have this. This is where I house my lav mic. It's a wireless lav mic that I use for my videos all the time. I also have this little camera, which is also like my overhead camera because it's smaller and lighter. And I also tend to use this for like B-roll of like the gear and stuff because I don't feel like moving this camera. I like where she sits. I like the framing. I want it to be in that exact spot every single time. So I don't like moving that camera. So I'll use this as B-roll. I have the Orbit 2 on my desk, which is like my own musical version of like a fidget spinner. I don't know. I feel like to a certain extent that mostly concludes the desk tour and what's going on. If there's specific videos that you would like to see about some of the stuff that I mentioned today, definitely leave a comment, let me know. As I said before, I am going to be working with the WA-76 for a little bit longer before I make a video about that. And with that said, if you guys haven't already, definitely please like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.